Oh yeah, 1 2 1 2. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Frank Red. Once again, locked in the dungeon on a nighttime edition. I won't say today in case you listen to it tomorrow or whenever. Learned that little trick from my man Kanye, Ye West, listening to one of his mixtapes. He got some great mixtapes out there, by the way. A lot of people are through it, yay. But I think he's gonna make a comeback. America, society loves a comeback, as they like to tear people down. I think there's always room for an opportunity to come back in some form or fashion. And if he's interested in doing something creative, I think people will listen simply because he is unbelievably talented. No question about that. Or you might have the mindset that, you know what, if I'm done with you, I'm done with you. I don't care how talented you are, I'm not going to support you. I can understand that as well. All right. This is the In the Dungeon program. My name is Frank Red. How y'all doing out there? And got a lot to talk about on a sports weekend that was exhilarating on many levels. And I'm sure if you are a Golden State Warrior fan, you're probably not feeling as great about what took place tonight and maybe the prospects long term for the Golden State Warriors after getting off to such a great start. They are now 6-5. I would say to you, just relax. One of the things that you want to do when you are assessing your teams, a team that you are a fan of, maybe a team that you're coaching, is you need to understand why things are not going well. If you understand why, then you have an opportunity to fix it. Or you can attempt to fix it. But if you're just a fan and you're living and dying with every play and every game, and you're not looking at what's happening beyond the score, it can be really tough for you. The Warriors have a simple problem. Everything that they do is based on shooting and the ball going through the basket, and they're not making shots. So the Warriors are not making shots, as small as they are, comparatively speaking, to some of the larger teams in the NBA. They're going to have tough nights. And a tough night for them is losing a tough game, by 10 points, 8 points, 6 points. They're not going to get blown out too many nights. And, oh, by the way, when they are shooting well, they're going to beat a lot of good teams and possibly the best teams in the league. You go back to their last game against the Denver Nuggets on the road, they were right there. Why? Because they played good defense and they were making some shots. But there are some stats and some things that I think Warriors fans need to be concerned about. The fact that no starting player outside of Stephen Curry has scored over 20 points at the 11th game mark is absolutely amazing. Let that breathe for a minute. All right, so we're going to talk about the Warriors. They lose tonight once again, 116-110 to the upstart Minnesota Timberwolves. When people said that Gobert and Cat Towns couldn't play together, I questioned their basketball IQ. I was like, why can't they play together? Good players figure it out. And then the ascension, probably a little faster and a little better than people thought that Anthony Edwards would ascend in the NBA, has helped them even more. That guy is a flat-out superstar. I don't care what the stats say. I don't care what the all-NBA teams say. He's one of the top 10 players in the NBA, to me. So this is a tough matchup. The Timberwolves are a tough matchup for the Warriors. They played them again on Tuesday night in a play-in tournament game, and they have to devise a plan to get a victory. We're going to talk about that tonight because I got some ideas with regards to how that might transpire. I'm going to touch on 49ers victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it was more than a victory. It was a thrashing, 34-3. But first, I'm going to get Vicky in here. She has said. Vicky said, "Hi, Frank. Beautiful football, not so much beautiful basketball. All phases of the 49ers game plan came together. I think the 49ers are in great shape. Warriors better play better on Tuesday." Yeah, it's interesting, Vicky, because I wrote down, there were novels written about the demise of the 49ers. Their defensive coordinator was terrible, didn't know what he was doing. It's funny what happens when you get Deebo Samuel back, Trent Williams back at left tackle, CMC, Christian McCaffrey, running like he has run all year. It's funny how things change a little bit. And this is an organization, to me, that knows how to quiet the noise. Notwithstanding Steve Wilkes bringing him down to the field as opposed to being in the booth. And I have no problem with that. I mean, there are many defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators who are on the sidelines for various reasons. And it works. And it also works when an offensive coordinator is in the box. So I think this was a matter of Steve Wilkes having tremendous confidence in his ability and just playing nice in the sandbox. If your boss wants you to do something and it's not so debilitating to you, then why not do it? Why not do it? So Wilkes is an excellent head coach and coordinator. And he went out there and I think quieted the chorus a little bit because they were sharp. Defensively, they were outstanding. Doesn't hurt when you can go on the market, go to Whole Foods, the Whole Foods of the NFL market, and pick the best looking fruit on the stand. The peach that has all of the colors mixed in there. You go, wow, I can't wait to eat that. That was Chase Young, all right, for a third-round pick. Now, I said the last show that Chase Young might be a rental. And if you know football, if you follow the 49ers closely, that's okay. They got a third-round pick from the Texans for losing one of their offensive coaches and D'Amico Ryan. So the 49ers win the Super Bowl or make it to the Super Bowl, I think they will look back on this acquisition of Chase Young. He's going to play well. He played well today for a third-round pick and say, you know what? Well worth it. All right? Let's get SG in. SG says, Brock Purdy looked sexy today for the 49ers against the Jags as he finished with 296 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks. SG, just so we good, what is your definition of sexy? Because you're using it more in a sports context, and it's all good. I got my own definition, but I want to hear what your definition is so we're not confusing the audience. So what does sexy mean? What does that mean? Does sexy mean well? Does it mean something else? Let us know. Now, with regards to Brock Purdy, sometimes it's good to be lucky because that first touchdown that he threw to Brandon Ayuk, that was a pick waiting to happen. Everybody listening to the program right now knows that pass should have been picked. But sometimes quarterbacks are lucky. It's all good. It's all good. But Brock Purdy looks strong, no doubt about that. And he got the 49ers off to a good start. But that defensive front, when they're playing like I think most people expect the 49ers defensive line to play, they are tough. All of a sudden, the Pro Bowl linebackers, Greenwald, Weaver, they look like all pros. And then like the back end, it becomes a solid unit. They don't have to be superstars when the defensive line is playing as well as they play today. So we'll talk about the 49ers. You have a comment or two about them, feel free to step in here. They take on the Tampa Bay Bucks next at home. And I think that should continue their march towards a division title, although they got to deal with Seattle. Geno Smith once again showed today that he's no joke. Geno can beat anybody, and he can lose anybody. SG says the word sexy can be used to describe anything that is exciting or stylish. Okay, I got you. Thank you. I wonder if that's your definition or did you look that up? All right. A lot of good stories in the NFL. None better than Josh Dobbs. I mean, Josh Dobbs came out of Tennessee. I think he was a 4th-round draft pick. Known more for his intelligence of being a astrophysicist. Really, really brilliant academic. Was kind of a so-so quarterback coming out of college and made some stops around the NFL. But he's found his footing, man, and couldn't be happier for this guy. Once again, he miraculously led the Minnesota Vikes to another victory. That was good to see. Kyler Murray came back in Arizona, got a win for them. And now I actually feel that I can appreciate the Raiders again. No, I'm not happy that they left Oakland, but I can appreciate the Raiders because those vital characteristics that all of us who like the Raiders identify with are back in fold. Antonio Pierce is not an offensive guru. He's not a defensive coordinator, although he was in high school, I believe, at Long Beach Poly. He might have been a defensive coordinator. But he's a leader of men. And I think that's the most important thing. And I think, with fantasy football, analytical this and that, can you lead men or can you lead women? Can you get people moving in the right direction? Because that's all Antonio Pierce has done. He's injected a level of confidence that is manifesting itself through the play of the players. And I love it. I love it for the fans. Because fans need sports as a diversion. I mean, they live such tough lives. They do work 9, 10, 12 hours a day for minimal pay. They want to look at their teams and feel that they can connect on that level, on a hard-working level, having joy for what you're doing. And I think the Raiders are exhibiting that now over the past couple of weeks. I think it was the right decision to take Jimmy G off the field. Because I didn't get that from Jimmy G. Jimmy G's a lot better than he played as a Raiders quarterback. And that's really on him. That's on him. He'll probably find his way again on the field, and hopefully he can learn from Aiden O'Connell that, you got to play, man. You got people's lives in your hands. Go out and put forth a solid effort. SG, I appreciate your honesty. I looked that up. Of course you did. I know you looked it up because it sounds like you looked it up, but that's okay. It's all good. Yeah, so the NFL was pretty interesting today. It's funny, yesterday I was watching the Michigan Penn State game, and we're going to get into a little later on the program. The gentleman's name is Sharon Moore. He's I think he's the offensive coordinator who stepped in for Jim Harbaugh yesterday while he is serving his 3-game suspension for alleged cheating. I mean, They have an appeal in, and it might be heard. I don't know if it should be heard. I honestly don't. Michigan did something wrong. They got caught. I don't think that your alibi should be, well, look at what somebody else did. I don't believe that at all. It's almost like, when one kid get in trouble, they say, Mom, but such and such did it too. It's your own personal accountability. And I'm a big Jim Harbaugh guy as a football coach. Watching the Chargers lose another game kept saying to me, if best case scenario, if Michigan wins the national championship, if they make it to a national championship game and Harbaugh wants to go away, if the Chargers hire him, if they decide to move on from their coach, all their problems will go away. I honestly believe that. I mean, have you ever seen a more talented team that loses as much as the Chargers do? Franchise quarterback, good running backs, solid defense, excellent wide receivers, and yet they lose most weeks. SG, this is a weird statement. Purdy would look great in tattoos. What are you talking about? Really? Are you like a tattoo person? You really like tattoos? I have nothing against tattoos, by the way. But do it because you want to do it. Why? I mean, you put something on your arm or your body, for clicks because it looks good, or does it have some type of value for you? I'm joking, by the way. Golden State Warriors went down to the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight, 116-110. And it's okay to lose. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think when you look a little deeper, there are some concerns. First of all, I don't know how many minutes Stephen played tonight, but it felt like he played about 40 minutes tonight. And, I mean, I'm not even going to say because he's 35 years old. As a veteran player who's played the amount of basketball that he's played, he should not be doing that amount of lifting for this team. And Kerr knows this. Kerr is kind of burning the midnight oil, burning the candle at both ends, if I can get my analogies, my metaphors together. It's troubling. Clay is probably about what we thought Clay would be. Pretty good. Not the same Clay, not great, but pretty good. The biggest issue that the Warriors have right now is Andrew Wiggins. And I was happy to see that everybody on the team, including Wiggins, came out with a certain amount of energy in the first quarter. But that did not manifest for Wiggins into excellent play. He's not playing well. His fundamentals look terrible. And I know Kirk came on yesterday and said that he was not thinking about removing him from the starting lineup. And I get it. I mean, that can sound like a knee-jerk move when you got 82 games over the course of a season. But his poor play is affecting other people's play. And, there's a lot of ramifications with regards to Andrew Wiggins, because if you don't start him, that means you probably can't trade him if you were thinking about trading him. And if you do trade him, you're going to get pennies on the dollar. So there's a problem there. But I would seriously think about, not for a long-term deal, but they play Tuesday. I might think about starting Moses Moody or Jonathan Kuminga. Probably Moody more than Kuminga, because Kuminga's still learning the game. But they need to get more shooting out there. And I'm not saying Moody is shooting great, but he has more confidence than I think Andrew Wiggins does. And you can bring Wiggins off the bench and play him the same number of minutes that he normally plays. But I think they need to get more offensive balance on the court. What do you think about the Draymond call yesterday? You mean the ejection? I saw when he kind of elbowed Mitchell running down the court, and then Mitchell kind of retaliated. I understand why Mitchell was upstate, because Ray was trying to sun him a little bit. That wasn't my accident. And I don't have a problem with Draymond being who he is. The problem is, in the eyes of referees, they look at everything through the lens of how good a player are you. The better player you are, the more they let you get away with. If they sense that your production is starting to slip or you have some deficiencies, they don't give you that love. They don't. Going back 2 plays. Explain that, Vicky, because I don't think I saw that play. The one he got his first tech on, right? Yeah. Explain that for me, because I don't think I saw it. I was shocked by the foul call that Draymond got tonight when Gobert was clearly holding him down with his shoulder. You can kind of nitpick a little bit and your team's not playing well, but Kirk took that to replay, and they still gave the foul to Draymond. I was like, what? I thought that was crazy. And Greg was talking a little bit to Anthony Edwards, and it was getting kind of crazy. The bottom line is you got to play well. Energy is one thing, and basketball IQ is another thing. Draymond has all of that, and he's actually playing pretty good basketball to start the season. But when the opposition literally stands 3 feet off you, when you got the ball at the free throw line, that's making a statement. Because those back cuts, those down screens that you're trying to, get Steph off and play off, they're just not going to be there because nobody's going for the fake. When the opportunity to shoot the ball is there for you and you don't take the shot, that stifles your offense. I think that happened somewhat to the Warriors tonight. And it's happening to them over the past couple of games. The second tech, the ref went back 2 plays and called 2 tech on Dre. Yeah, I know he got kicked out. I didn't really see the entire sequence. The only thing I saw when Donovan Mitchell kind of ran up on him and Draymond retaliated. Oh, and then so then they went back and saw when Draymond kind of shoved him a little bit and having retroactive tech. Is that what you mean? Again, Vicky and everybody else, this is when I wish that we could have a conversation so we could clear up some of the misunderstandings via this particular format. Knock, knock, who's there? What are we talking about? But yeah, what do you think about possibly moving Moody into the starting lineup on Tuesday? Not for a long-term deal, but I think that the Warriors probably need a different level of energy or something, because Andrew Wiggins is struggling. The only way I could see myself starting Andrew Wiggins, if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm going to say, yo, dude, we cannot have you just launching jump shots. They're basically turnovers. Andrew Wiggins is shooting, he got to be under 20% from 3 at this point. Draymond's shooting in the 40s. It really has to stop. If Andrew Wiggins has his footwork together and he catches the ball on the wing, I don't even care if he gets an offensive foul. Go to the basket and try to dunk the ball. And you get your confidence. Okay, if you're up 12, 14, you get an open 3, you want to take it, then fine. But These games are in the balance, and they're changing rapidly when the Warriors miss three-point shots. I can tolerate Clay missing his three-point shot. He's Clay Thompson. You know? No one's going to ever tell Steph Curry not to shoot. But Andrew Wiggins, go to the basket. Even Jonathan Kuminga. Okay, dude, you are an improved shooter. You are an improved player. I get it. But you're not an automatic three-point shooter. And yeah, I mean, I know when you went to the basket, Gobert stuffed you, blocked your shot. That's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Do it again. You know, he's getting his free throw percentage up. He's around 74% now, which is respectable. Vicky says, yes, see if it works. I love Moody. Yeah, I mean, why not? Moody's 6'6". You know, he's 6'6". Clay is basically a small forward. Clay's 6'7". If you can get more offense on the floor, you got to do it. You have to. And I would also say that Trace Jackson-Davis, get him a few more minutes early in the game because he's a presence inside. The Warriors are very smart. I think that they are the level of expectations for Starridge are too high. I mean, this dude is playing his tail off, but he's never been a big-time defender. He's never been a big-time rebounder. And yet, he's rebounding and he's playing pretty good defense, but talent eventually will take over. I mean, get Jackson Hayes out there, man. I always like to talk to my man, Abdulia. What's up, brother? What's up, Frank? Not a big numbers guy, but the numbers say the best five-man lineup for the Warriors is Moody, with the other four starters excluding Clay. Huh. Yeah. See, I like stats like that. You know why? Because I can visualize that. That's logical. That's common sense. And I would, despite the numbers, I would probably keep Clay in the lineup because I mean, you got a whole bunch of issues if you take Clay out of the lineup. I mean, everybody knows that. I would be more inclined to try to take Wiggins out, even though the numbers might say that Wiggins at least gives you, like, you know, pretty good perimeter defense and rebounding, so on and so forth. The idea of changing the lineup, I think, needs to be discussed. Not for a long term, but I think for next game, just to kind of get off the snide, this team lost 3 games in a row. You don't want to lose 3 games in a row. You really don't, because from a mental standpoint, it starts to have an effect on your play. The only guy on the Warriors that you look at and you say he's impervious to doubting himself is Stephen Curry. That's it. Everybody else you look at and you go, yeah, I totally understand. It's not by mistake that not one starter beyond Stephen Curry has scored over 20 points in a game this year. This is game 11. That's crazy. Cool Breeze said the defense in the paint is not good. Worse than the NBA. Need another big. That's on Curry. Yeah, but they got a big. Why not put Jackson Hayes in there? Yeah, he's a rookie. Yo, man, that dude is big. Joker gave Jackson Hayes props after that game. He goes, he doesn't play like a rookie. He was very physical inside. He competed. He wasn't afraid. You know? So I agree with you, Cool Breeze, in that they need another big on the interior, and their interior defense is not great. But they got a guy who's getting ice on the bench. Put him out there. You know, Kerr kind of reacts sometimes late because you'll probably see Jackson Hayes in the game on Tuesday. I mean, you know, he's definitely going to play on Tuesday. But he should have played tonight, as far as I'm concerned. But play him early, not late. There's another issue with this team, too. And it seems almost like an oxymoron to even talk about it. The Warriors might be between 15th and 20th in free throw shooting in the NBA. Is that crazy? But they can't make free throws. The Warriors are giving up 6, 7, 8 points a game, maybe more than that, on the free throw line. And again, the NBA, I've been talking about it for 6 months, how good the NBA is. There are no nights off. Every team that comes to your building, every team that you play on the road is good. And what happens is, every game there's a point where the momentum and the balance of power shifts. And when you're getting free money on the free throw line, you got to make those shots. You have to. I'm very disappointed with the Warriors free throw shooting. I really am. And I know some people might say, yo, Red, what about Pudzinski? Put him out there. Look at what he did at the end of the game. I'm not going for the okie doke. I'm not going for it. I'm not. I'm not ready to do that. I want more shots from Moody. I want the players who are playing to play smarter, drive to the baskets, less outside shots. Right? That's what I want. I want their core 8 players to play better. I don't necessarily want to inject somebody else who's going to take a player who I think is better than Brandon at this point. What he did at the end of the game is pretty impressive. You know, wouldn't go screaming if Kerr put him in early. I just don't think he's ready. I don't. I think it's going to take some time. But he did play well when he got in. So give him props for that. And I would love it if he proved me wrong. If Kerr put him out there and all of a sudden he was making plays and helping his team win, I would say keep him out there. But when I evaluate the Warrior players and I evaluate him, I don't think that he is the best option right now. I don't, but maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? I also think that on the interior, the Warriors don't box out. Now, maybe I'm losing my mind simply because Cat Towns and Gobert are so damn tall. They are tall. And Daniels is tall. They got a tall team. You know, but I don't mind getting an offensive foul from boxing out. I don't mind that at all. I don't see the Warriors doing that. Oh my God. Abdulio says, Wiggins is shooting 53 from the free throw line. That's beyond words. I'm going to tell you how bad that is. It's equivalent for a professional to shoot 30% from the free throw line. And I'm going to tell you why. When you show up at practice, before practice, or after practice, the Warriors have 19 people who look like you or I standing under the basket, just feeding whomever wants to shoot free throws. That is god awful. Somebody who made an all-star team a couple of years ago, 53%. The Warriors would have been better off. Now, I'm joking. I don't believe this. But the Warriors would have been better off signing Kelly Oubre. I just letting him go out there and run wild and do what he does. You can put numbers up. halfway joking. I don't think that was the answer, but hopefully Kelly makes a healthy return from getting hit, by a motorcycle or a car today, cracked a rib. But that dude was playing excellent ball in Philly, averaging 20 points a game. Julio, thank you, man. 53%. I mean, listen, man. I would be disappointed if my 12, 13-year-old girls team that I'm about to coach couldn't shoot at least 50%. I'm a horrible coach. If we have time to practice and we can't make 1 out of 2, and I'm not like some Yahoo, talking on the internet about some professional athlete. No, I mean, I root for all these guys. But I did play. I do understand basketball. Free throw shooting is nothing but concentration. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's focusing and concentrating, put the time in. I mean, again, it's an oxymoron to think of a starting wing player in the NBA and then say they shoot 50% from the free throw line. That's terrible. That is just, and it impacts winning. I'm disappointed about stuff like that. Stuff like that bothers me. The wins and the losses, sometimes you got to give the opposition credit. Give Minnesota credit. They're 7-2 for a reason. They're real good. And the funny thing is, over the past couple of days, I've been having a pretty intense conversation. Not intense like contentious. Intense meaning that we were going back and forth with a gentleman in Minneapolis, I believe, who is a big-time Wolves fan. He was like, well, Red, what do you think about the Wolves in terms of winning the chip? And I was like, nah, not this year. They have to improve in turnovers and assists. And I still think that would be their bugaboo because, when the ball's in Mike Conley Jr.'s hands, not a problem at all. But when he goes out of the game and Anthony Edwards is kind of the primary scorer and shot creator for everybody else, sometimes the games can turn. So I think that they kind of need some help with their backup point guard duties, which is why they have a lot of turnovers. But there's so many other stats that are just luscious that this team fills up the box score with. They're going to out-rebound most teams. They're going to shoot a really high clip from 3 among their front court players. They're good. Their style is not beautiful, but they're good. Andrew to go. Need together. The Warriors really need to get it together ASAP. It's not. I don't quite understand that. Let's try that again. Andrew to go. What in the world is going on with the Warriors? You know what? We just spelled it out. They're not shooting the ball well. That's it. That's it. And the players who should be ascending are not ascending. Klay Thompson is averaging, 16 points a game? 15, 16, 17 points a game? At his best, Klay Thompson was going to average 18, 19, and shoot about what he's shooting, probably low 40s. After 13, 14 years playing 2 guard in the NBA, that's pretty much what you are. So Klay has been what I thought that he would be. Andrew Wiggins has not. Andrew Wiggins should be averaging 18 points a game, maybe 20. Shooting 80% from the free throw line. Andrew, no need to pray. I hope the Warriors can turn it around soon. I think they will, man. Listen, this is the Warriors. 4-time champion. The law of averages say that they're going to start shooting the ball well. But I honestly think that shot distribution is a factor, though. You can't have Kuminga just launching a three every time he's, quote, open. Work on your floater. Get your float game together. Get to the rim and just power dunk on somebody. Don't go big block your shot. If Kuminga goes to the basket 10 times, 6 or 7 times he's going to score or going to get fouled. Not many people are going to block this guy's shot. And I'm high on Kuminga. This dude is playing really good defense. He's not really efficient, but he's a solid rotational player at this point. And she says Wiggins is like a clown. Yeah, but why we gotta get personal, man? Come on, man. Why is he a clown? I'm not gonna tell you how to speak, but I don't make personal attacks on people, man. I don't do that. I might be in the locker room one day and run into Andrew, have a conversation with him, and it needs to be a good one, So I don't make personal comments. You shouldn't either. I think it's really beneath you, to be honest with you. My man Andrew the GOAT says Steve Kerr needs to stop playing Dario at the 5 and play. Okay. Andrew, I don't mind stealing minutes from Dario at the 5 because, when he's making his threes, he didn't shoot very well tonight, but he puts the opposition at a disadvantage. But when the score changes, it's all about time and sequence. If the Warriors are up 7, 8, 9, you can play Darwich at the 5 because teams have to react to the Warriors. But if the Warriors are down 8 and you're playing them at the 5, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. You might as well put him at the 4 and take Draymond off the court and play Jackson Davis, at the 5. I agree with you. Get him on the floor. He should be playing more. No doubt. I kind of blame these two washes on Kerr for putting Dario at the 5. At the 5, does he not realize PJD is a better player at the 5 than Dario? I get you, but look at it from both sides. Steve Kerr is basically an offensive coach. He's won championships with great defenses. He has excellent defensive coaches on the staff, but he looks through everything, not everything, but he's looking through the lens as an offensive coach. And Trace Jackson Davis at this point, I think he views as not a guy who has the versatility that he wants his 5-man to have, i.e. being able to receive the ball at the free throw line and still be a player, because he's really not. He's a low post player. He can do dribble hands off. He can dive. But there's a lot of things that Jackson Davis can't do from an offensive standpoint right now that Dario, when he's going well, he can do. Dario can make outside shots. But I understand your point. Thoughts on Guy Santos? I would not have signed him. I would not have signed him. Hopefully, I'm proven wrong. But 3 years, if I miss something, then okay. But I haven't seen him consistently make a jump shot. Good prospect. He's gotten bigger, 6'8", athletic. He's really close. But I don't think he's a rotational player in the NBA right now. Not on a championship caliber team. I don't think he is. Would I play Santos over Kuminga? No. would I play him over Moody? No. So what is he going to play? Now the Warriors have at least 2 years guaranteed for Santos. I'm happy for him on a personal level. I'm always happy when people get money. To play a game that they love. But I don't think that I would have signed him. I know the Warriors probably would have lost him, lost some money or lost, some equity or something to the extent that they needed to sign him. But I would have signed Rudy Gay. Now, I didn't see Rudy Gay practice. I'm going on the premise that he can still play. Maybe he can't. But I think I would have signed someone like a Rudy Gay. That's what I would have done. Andrew Wiggins played like shit tonight. Finished the game with 6 points, 4 fouls, 0 for 2 from 3, and he is utter embarrassment. I mean, come on, man. Stop it, dude. He didn't play well. He didn't play well. And I'm not trying to censor your comments either. That's why I said what I said. No, he's not playing well. And it's funny because we don't know what's going on. We don't know. I'm not going to speculate on the internet, because that's wrong to do it. But in my notes right here, as I was preparing for the show, he didn't look like an NBA player to me tonight. He did not look like an NBA player. And you punctuated my point, SG, by listing the stats. If anything, you want to get up for the team that you used to play for. That might have been his worst effort tonight from an offensive perspective. I thought he came out with energy again. Yeah, he played with energy, but he was so bad. And Steph is like, yo, I got to do the work of 2 players. So you are worried about the Warriors after losing these 2 very bad games at home? No. I'm worried about how they're playing. I'm not concerned about how many games they lost. Because I think at the top, if this was a young team, would I be worried? Hell yeah. But Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr, Ron Adams, Klay Thompson. No, I'm not worried about them losing 3 games. No, I'm not. But I'm worried about how they're playing. Because you can only have so many player meetings. You can only have so many film sessions before ultimately you got to go out on the court and you got to play. And Andrew Wiggins, again, he didn't look like a professional player tonight. I mean, we're talking about wide open shots. Wide open jump shots. We're not talking about contested threes with people running at you. No, we're talking about wide open shots. These are pros. If you are a 3 in the NBA, you got to make that shot. People shoot 40% on contested threes. Most Andrew Wiggins threes are not even contested. And then 53% from the free throw line, when you go into the line 7, 6, 7, 8 times a game, and you're leaving 5, 6 points on the board every game. Andrew the Goat says, do you think Curry would have started some of the rookies in the starting rotation tonight? We could have come up. The only rookie that I would consider starting is Trace Jackson Davis, and I'm going to say no. And I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the quarter, the score was tied 31-all. So the Warriors came out and matched the energy level of the Timberwolves. Do I think that Jackson Davis should have been in the second quarter? Hell yeah. Yes, I do. Do I think that you need to throw Trace out there with Draymond and just dirty it up? Yeah, I do. Because I think that mentally you can get inside of Cat Towns' head and Gobert. I mean, those dudes are behemoths, but they're not nasty players. We're not talking Lambeer and Mahone here. These are really, really nice guys who play real clean basketball. Very clean. Against them, I think the more physical you are, the better. Because they don't really, I don't think either one of those guys really like the physicality of the game. I don't think they run away from it. I mean, Gobert still looks like the best defensive player in the NBA, but he's not like a Charles Oakley type. He's not that type of player. He's not. So you can be physical with him. Andrew the GOAT says the 76ers are playing better basketball than the Warriors right now. Yeah, they are. They are. It'll be interesting to see how Kelly Oubre's absence in the moving forward affects the team, because he's probably not going to come back for, I mean, at the earliest, a couple of weeks. And I mean, he was their third scorer. Tobias is playing well, but Oubre was averaging 20 points a game. So we'll see how that affects them. Also, Philly has been playing a lot of home games, right? And they've been playing the Eastern Conference a lot. Once they get outside of that region, they got to travel. We'll see, because I like Tyrese Maxey a lot. I wish he had gotten paid. I'm not convinced that he's a quintessential point guard yet. I'm not. His lines are always like 33-6, 25-7, Never do you see a line like 18 points, 13 assists. You don't see that. And I think that over the course of a season, if he is going to be that guy, their primary point guard, then he's going to have to balance his game a little bit and then have the ability to go out and get 35 if he needs to. But every night, I don't think he should be scoring in the high 20s. I don't think he should do that. With their personnel, I think they got to get more guys involved. SG, I'm going to get serious for 1 second. All right, I'm reading what you wrote. The Warriors should trade Andrew Wiggins back to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Russell. All right, okay, so let me say this, dude. And I'm serious. I'm this serious. Not really. I post your comments because you support the show. I post the comments because you're part of the community. But one of the things that I want to do, and I tried to do this from the inception of this show, is I want to be smart, all right? So if you want your comments to be posted, you have to make smart comments. That's not a smart comment. That's an unintelligent comment, and I don't want to go there. There are a ton of shows out there that's doing what you just did, just throwing a bunch of crap at the wall and see if it sticks and having nobody check them. I want this show to be the smartest sports talk show out there. That's my goal. All right? I can't do it by myself. So if you want to listen, that's fine. If you want to comment, then it's all good. Most of the comments that people are making are really, really smart comments. All right? So you need to make a smart comment. Otherwise, I'm going to stop putting this stuff out there. Andrew the GOAT says, in my opinion, I think the Warriors are way better than the Cavaliers when the Warriors are at their best. Same thing with Minnesota Timberwolves. Turn rewards the Warriors. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't know about way better, but I think that the Warriors are better. Because I am factoring in nuance, experience, coaching, all of those things. But Andrew, I think if you are being honest, right, and you are looking at that statement in its totality, those teams are on the come up. Matt Strus was a tremendous get by Cleveland because they didn't have a wing who could consistently shoot. Now they can put LeVert on the bench and have him be kind of this sixth starter type guy. Listen, I'm a New York Knicks fan. The Knicks whooped their tails last year, right, in the playoffs. If J.D. Bickerstaff is a top 3 or top 4 seed and they don't win an opening round, Cleveland Cavaliers, he getting fired. Bottom line, Luke Walton will be the head coach again. You know, Luke Walton will be Luke Walton will be a head coach in the NBA for the 3rd time if they don't make it past the first round. Because the Cleveland Cavaliers are talented. The Warriors are a little better, but they are talented. Donovan Mitchell, if he continues along his same arc, it's still going to be in the Hall of Fame, man. Donovan Mitchell's going to score over 20,000 points, probably somewhere between 20,000 and 25,000, unless he has a catastrophic injury. Vicky says, we don't know what's going to happen with Wiggs. He's a basketball player. That's what he's getting paid for. I feel bad for him. Yeah, me too. I do. I feel bad for him also, Vicky, because we don't know. And there could be other factors that's affecting him. And people might, I mean, at the risk of someone calling me soft on the internet doing a sports talk show, I'm okay with that. Call me soft. It's fine. Because I care about people. All good. I have no problem with it. I don't look at sports as like going to McDonald's and eating like a hamburger really fast and putting the wrappers in the garbage. No, I actually care about these people. I care about everybody. And I don't compartmentalize professional athletes. Is he doing his job? No, he's not doing his job well. Let's establish that. But are there factors that we don't know about? Possibly. The Warriors are such a class organization. If there's anything that we don't know about, we will not hear about it from them. They proved that last year. But if I'm Draymond Green, if I'm any member on that team, and my goal is to win a championship, and I see somebody out there not carrying their weight, in the most basic analogy that I can use, I'm concerned about it. Because I'm concerned that the coach is still putting him out there. Put Moody out there. Put Kuminga. Moody looks really good to me. Is he an all-star caliber level player? No, he's not. But Moses Moody's a damn good player. And he's not afraid. I mean, I've never seen a kid 21 years old that mature. Moody acts like he's 30 some odd years old. You know, and Kirk can be stubborn, but this is a time when he needs to almost coach against his tendencies. Warriors are 6-5. Tuesday's a play-in tournament game. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I don't think Kirk's going to do it. But I would start Moody. I would bring Wiggins off the bench. I would play him the same amount of minutes. Maybe I would start in the second half based on how he plays. But I would give the fans and the team something to be excited about. Matthew James, you new brother, what's up, man? I appreciate you stepping in the dungeon. I think that the Warriors have to play fundamentally sound basketball to make up for their lack of height. Being solid on defense, taking care of the basketball, boxing out, steps, getting help with scoring. Matthew, you sound like a coach because everything that you just said, I totally agree with. And you and I are watching the same game because they don't box out. Do they box out? No, they don't box out. What's the worst thing that Draymond box out? Draymond Green is the only guy on the team that boxes out. What is the worst thing that can happen if you box out? You get an offensive charge. Big deal. Big deal. Nobody cares. Most of the time what happens when you box somebody out is they don't want to deal with the physicality and they stop going for rebounds. Ricky says, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I don't think it's panic time. I mean, come on, man. You got 82 games to play. But I am concerned about the amount of minutes that Stephen Curry is playing. And I'm concerned about his heavy workload. And I'm going to tell you where this shows up with Stephen. When Stephen Curry gets tired, there's one visible outcome of Stephen getting tired. Turnovers. Turnovers. When Stephen is tired, turnovers come like tsunamis. The one-handed cross-court passes, kind of the foot passes, not having two hands on the ball. And I see it. And I think Kerr probably sees it. The coaches see it. The players see it. He's playing too much. He has too much responsibility. If I'm one of his teammates, I feel terrible right now because I'm like, yo, I'm not doing my job, man. I think that is a direct effect of other players not playing well. Steph's trying to do too much. Matthew says, it's hard for the Warriors to break these bad habits, bro, because they had the talent in the past with Kevin Durant, Iguodala, Sean Livingston, and others who helped compensate for bad turnovers. Yeah, I get it. But I also know that there's a connection between fatigue and turnovers. And you just mentioned some really, really good players who are out there playing, which means that Stephen was probably on the bench at that particular time, resting. So I think the point that you're making is that they were just as turnover prone back then when they had all these good players as they are now. I don't think so, but I haven't looked at the stats. You might be right. But I think as a coach, it's a year-to-year proposition. And I know Kerr is hammering on these guys, but take him out then. Take Stephen out. Because I guarantee you, if he's rested and he's not tired, he doesn't make as many turnovers. He doesn't. I'm not convinced right now that Chris Paul is ever going to be a really good shooter this year. He doesn't look like it. He's still very valuable. I still think the move was great. He's doing a lot for the Warriors. He's going to have some really good games. But I don't think if he's going to shoot the ball well. Just based off the fact when you consider his age, and if you play basketball before, your shot comes from your lower extremities. Everybody look at the beautiful form and all that. You know what? That's the cherry. That's the cherry on top of the cake. The cake is baked with all of these other ingredients, and it starts with your feet, your thighs, your buttocks. All of those things go into shooting. All you good shooters out there know exactly what I'm talking about. So, I just think the Warriors need to try something different. I would put Moody in the starting lineup for Tuesday and see how it works. I will continue to play pressure defense. Their zone is not bad. It's not horrible. It tends to work better when they're winning. From behind, the Warriors zone doesn't really work because you're playing against really good players. So, really good conversation though about what the Warriors are doing. SG, you said, this is your comment? You can watch the Steph Curry fan-made video tribute, which is set to the tune "Let It Be" by the Beatles. Dude, I'm not a fan, man. I don't have a problem with people being fans, but I mean, if a Steph Curry tribute video was on, I wouldn't turn the channel. I'll probably watch some of it, but I don't really care about stuff like that. I don't. I care about watching the games. I mean, yeah, that's not for me. The Apple documentary, I definitely want to see that at some point in time. But I find talking basketball more interesting than talking about tribute videos because I'm not a fan. At least I really don't view. I'm a supporter. I'm a fan of basketball. That's why, like, emotionally, you won't see me, oh, the Warriors lost. Oh. Nah, man. I mean, give Minnesota some credit. Minnesota beat them. That's why the Warriors lost. The Warriors need to play better. I enjoy figuring out things that the Warriors might think about doing that can help them get better. The closest I am to I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a New York Knicks fan. And I love my Knicks. Knicks are not ready to win a championship. I can be very honest about that. I love some of their players. You guys know how I love Dante DiVincenzo. I do. Cool Breeze says, Wiggins shot is off from right to left. Is it his form or his legs? He's not really a fundamental shooter. He's always kind of shot with his arms. He doesn't really use his legs, doesn't really jump. Doesn't have great shooting form. He really doesn't. So I can't answer that because I don't think he's ever been a great shooter in his life. I can't remember him ever being a great shooter. Can't. Matthew says, I think that Chris is helping the young guys like Kuminga and Moody with their confidence. I like the energy with Moody and Kuminga. Just want to see Kuminga be more under control at times. Totally agree. Second time you and I agree with each other. I totally agree with you, man. I like how Kuminga is coming along. He's playing about 20 minutes a game. He's averaging double figures. His free throw shooting now is continually going up. He's about 75%. If he can get to 80%, that's going to increase his scoring to about 15 points a game. His shot selection is better. It's still not great. His judgment is not great. His defensive instincts are much better, but he still makes bad fouls based off emotion. So I've seen significant improvement in Jonathan Kuminga from last year to this year. I think next year he'll be even better. And I'm a big Moody fan. Moody is kind of a straight shooter, not like the prototypical great shooter, but I like him, man. I mean, that dude's just a flat-out winner. So I like him on the floor. And I would agree, Paul has had a tremendous impact on those two players, but I would suggest that he's had an impact on all of the Warrior players coming off the bench. Matthew says, I do hope and pray that Andrew isn't going through something that we do not know about. But his mechanics from his shot and also defense isn't on point. The problem with Wiggs is his motor. Yeah, I get it. Which is why I think that everybody at the start of the game was kind of looking for signs that his motor was not going to be there. But it was there. He came out and he played with energy, not necessarily intelligence. Listen, if somebody's going to stand 2 feet off of me and I got the ball in the wing and I'm 6'8" with the jump ability that Wiggins has, I'm getting closer to the basket. I'm dunking on somebody. When's the last time you saw Wiggins dunk on somebody? I'm just saying, yo, play to your strengths. And that's the thing about this era of basketball that does bother me, because this current crop of basketball players over the last 15, 20 years, talent up the yin yang, but intelligence? Do you honestly think that Adrian Dantley would not have gotten 30 against Minnesota tonight? What? Adrian Dantley, 6'4", 6'5". He would have said Adrian Dantley would have backed all those guys in, body bumped them, got fouled. You know, play smart, man. That's unintelligent basketball. For you to hoist a three when the scouting report at opposition says, oh, he's shooting 16%. Let him shoot. And then you shoot it. Come on, man. I don't like that. That bothers me. I'm gonna give you another chance, SG. I'm a fan, and when my favorite team is performing poorly, then I feel like breaking down in tears and crying. Stop it, man. I'm like, what? What are you, 2? What are you, 2 years old? Do you have bills? SG, you know what a bill is, man? You know? Break down in tears when you can't pay your mortgage and they're putting your and your family's furniture out on the curb. That's something to cry about. Or, you know, when you can't feed your kids. Or somebody who you love is in distress. Cry then. When your favorite team is not playing well, I break down and I cry. That's nothing to cry about, dude. That's not real life. That's fantasy. That is a diversion. You know what diversion is? Something to take your mind off things that really matter. Halfway joking, by the way. But hopefully you get my point. Man, I agree, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, listen. I mean, you know how much money these guys make to play basketball? One check, just one check or 2 checks would be somebody's salary for 10 years, 5 years, or whatever the case. I like to solve problems. That's what sports, man. Sports have given me everything. Besides my mother's love and her inspiration and belief in me, sports has given me the most that anybody else has given me. I mean, sports has given me more life experiences, real money than anything else. So I value sports and what it can do for us as individuals, but it's a game, man. It's a game. Steve Kerr and the staff and the teammates, they're paid to to figure out really simple problems. How do you become a better free throw shooter than 53%? Get your butt in the gym and practice shooting free throws. How do you shoot a higher percentage? Take better shots. Not that hard. I want to take a quick left in the time that we have left. We've been on there for like another 15 minutes. But as a sports fan, when I saw Sharon Moore, the black coach that stepped in for Jim Harbaugh, crying after the game and expressing himself in a way that I'm sure the networks were cringing about, letting the four-letter words fly, but being as authentic as he could be. I said to myself, that's why I love sports. That dude is a straight soldier, you know? And to see him shine in that moment, because all of the process that Michigan had as it relates to winning the Big Ten championship, national championship, all those things could have gone out the window. Coach Moore stepped up. And if you're an athletic director and you can't look at that guy and say, you know what? Yeah, I need to maybe invest in some media training to get him together after the game comments. But if you can't look at him and say to yourself, that's somebody who I want leading my young men, you shouldn't have your job. Michigan ran the ball 33 straight plays. That's Bill Parcellian. That's what I grew up on. I grew up watching Bill Parcells just mentally pulverize opposing coaches. That's what Michigan did. That was awesome. That's why we love sports. And my point is this. As a society, we become more tolerable of profanity on television, regardless of what time it is, because context matters. That dude was just being human. That's all he was. And the reporter did her job. She didn't make a big deal of it. No one else did. You know, just being to the world, cut it out. But in that live, raw and uncut moment, it was almost a part of the narrative. I don't think anybody really cared. That was awesome to see this man, you know, put it all out there. I'm a coach, man. I'm a soldier. I mean, I can be an assistant coach. I can be a head coach. I understand how hard it is, you know, for brothers to get opportunities. And to see him shine in that moment was great. I'm also going to say this. If Texas A&M was really serious about building the program, they would call David Shaw, former coach at Stanford. You know why? If you look at all of the players that David Shaw, his coaches, have coached at Stanford, they are some of the most fundamentally sound NFL players in the entire organization. All of them. It does not matter where they get drafted. First, second, third, fourth. They know how to coach football. David Shaw is a fundamentalist. Texas A&M's problem is they go out and they get all these talented players, they throw them out there without coaching them fundamentally. They're not fundamentally sound. It's why a team like Alabama, in a quote, off year, is making everybody look stupid right now. Why? Because Nick Saban is a fundamental football coach. Doesn't matter if you're a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, he's going to coach you up. And that's what Texas A&M needs. David Shaw will be the guy. All right, let's get some of these comments in here. Cool Breeze says, it's harder for Clay to get open. He lost quickness to break free on the screens and use that yeah, man, he's getting older, right? Still good. Still getting open shots when nobody's around him. But when he's under duress, not quite as good. I would agree with that. Matthew says, I would love to see the two rookies get more playing time. Podzimski and Trace Jackson. They have given the Warriors some great energy and positive minutes in their limited time of play. Yeah, you know what? They probably deserve to get on the floor. I mean, I don't think I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't. I don't think that Brandon should be playing over. I mean, I just want him to be a catch and shoot guy. I think that's the one area in which I think he can help the Warriors. Putting the ball in his hands to initiate offense, I don't think is the right move for him. He needs to prove that he can make open shots. As a guard in the NBA, that's how you establish yourself. That is your foundation. I don't think that he's proven consistently that he can do that yet. Now, you might say, well, Red, he hasn't played enough minutes to even assess that. I get it. All right. But me watching him, that's what I see. Maybe Curry give him some time. Man, Mark Graves, how you doing, brother? Will his language cost him a head coaching job? I hope not. I hope not. Might it? Who knows? But, the point that I was making is I don't condone it, but I think in the moment, we just as a society have grown to the point where we're not as like, oh, somebody cursed on television. I don't think we look at it like that. 2 weeks ago, LeBron James was giving an interview on TNT, and somebody says, he goes, we don't care about that shit. That's what he said. And they just kept it moving. Because why? It wasn't that big a deal. Do I think professional athletes should be talking, using profanity on television? No, I don't think they should. I don't use really profanity because it's not really part of what I do. But do I think it's the end of the world when it happens? No, I don't. I don't. If networks really cared that much, they would figure out a way to delay it 5 seconds or whatever the case. I actually think that raw moment that Coach Moore put out there, I'm not going to say it helped it, but I don't think it hurt it. Maybe you feel different. I'm not quite sure. Thanks, Mark. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother. Vicky says, that's what makes Jim Harbaugh a great coach. He gets great coaches around him. Yes, Vicky. And Vicky, you know what else he does? He develops coaches. There's a lot of coaches who have great coaches around them, but they don't develop them. They use them to win. Harbaugh, I think, is a developer of coaches. I do believe that. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. SG, I'm 27 years old, not 2. Oh, yeah? But you cry when your team's not playing well? You're probably joking, right? A bill is a proposed law as introduced in the legislature. The bill does not become a law, act, or statute until passed by the legislature. What is that? Another point I want to make about college football. I don't know if you guys heard it, but there was an earthquake in Colorado. Thousands of people jumped off the Coach Prime bandwagon at the same time. I think it was like 4.7 on the Richter. I'm not one of them. This is part of the journey, all right? And I just wanted to give you some context about what's going on with Colorado at this point. First of all, they're not getting blown out. They're playing hard. They're losing tough games to good teams, right? But Coach Prime is learning on the job. This season went haywire when they were up 29-0 against Stanford at halftime, and they lost. The season at that point was in the balance. It could have went either way. They could have, with great leadership and great coaching, they could have rallied, or they could have went on a downward spiral like they have been. And I'm going to tell you why. When players feel that their coaches are bigger than life, they play beyond their talent. They believe. They run through walls. But when that belief, when that model of your coach is not there as much, you kind of play down to where you are. I think that's what's happening with Colorado. Coach Sanders, I think, is at a disadvantage. He's not a defensive coordinator. He's not an offensive coordinator. They don't really have an identity. His decision not to go for it, 4th and 1, I believe, like on their 49-yard line, kicked the ball, they gave it back to Arizona, and they went and scored. That was a wrong decision. If you're that good, shouldn't you be able to make a yard when your team has momentum? That's coaching. Don't punt that ball. Dude, you're 4 and 5. You know, show some confidence in your players. I didn't like that at all. And then, you know, he put the pressure on his field goal kicker. The next time he missed a field goal that was kind of out of his range. The guy hasn't made a kick more than 43 yards. He missed a 45-yarder. I just think that from a coaching perspective, Coach Prime has made some decisions that have not worked. And I didn't hear his presser yesterday, but apparently he apologized and he took some responsibility. I don't like blaming players. I do not. You know, behind closed doors, okay, we can get real. But out front, never blame your players. Take all the responsibilities. Coach Prime hasn't always done that this year. Also, changing offensive coordinators in the middle of the year, didn't like it. Fritz Sherman is an NFL guy. I got it. I understand why he's on the staff, but why couldn't he share his thoughts with Sean Lewis, the current offensive coordinator? Because what you did, I believe you created a division because Sean Lewis has his guys. Coach Prime has his guys. That togetherness that you need as a team to get over the top, to band together, they don't have that right now. USC doesn't have that right now for some of the same reasons. If Lincoln Riley wanted that Texas A&M job and they wanted him, the USC alums would pack his bags for him. That's not how they want to play football. It's not. So, what's some of the bigger stories in college football? Mark Gray says, Frank got jokes. Yeah, man. I'm not the square that you thought I was. Actually, I am pretty square. But I do have sarcasm. I take pride in sarcasm. I think it comes out in my writing. I really like to write, man. Yeah. At the core, I'm a writer. That's what I am. And I'm not boastful, but I like to put in some zingers in written form. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate you. Oh, before I get out of here, I have to highlight the start of the women's college basketball season. Paige Beckers, love Paige Beckers. A member of the UConn Lady Huskies. Has had challenges staying healthy. She looks to be pretty clean right now, health-wise. What a great player. Love watching Paige Beckers play. Dawn Staley has another juggernaut in South Carolina. I was surprised that Stanford took care of Indiana by 30 tonight. Brink is good, Christian Brink. god sister, I guess, of Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry's parents are her godparents, I believe. Yeah, I love women's. And listen, check this out. If you can't see the impact that the WNBA has had on women's college basketball and the impact that women's college basketball has had on the WNBA, you're missing something. Do yourself a favor and go watch women play. The talent level is on such a high level now. It's unbelievable how good they are. And UConn and North Carolina State were going back and forth. And North Carolina ultimately win. We had a young lady on their team. What's her name? Witherspoon or Singleton? I'm not quite sure. I can write her name down. But she had 30. What a player. So, love to promote women's basketball whenever I have the opportunity to do that. All right. This has probably been the most interactive show that we've had. And I want to thank everybody for contributing. I was serious about having a smart show. I really am. It matters to me, and I think it matters to the people who listen to the show on a consistent basis. So, let's be funny, let's be ourselves, but let's be smart also. All right. Maybe I'll do a show on Tuesday night after the Warriors play the Minnesota Timberwolves to see if some of the things that we suggested that they might try actually come to fruition. So we'll check that out. SG says Stephen Curry's mother, Sonia Curry, who is Brink's godmother, her mother was roommates with Sonia at Virginia Tech, where her father played with Curry's father, Dale, on the basketball team. Okay, there you go. Details. Good job, SG. This wasn't your best show, so I'm happy you finished strong. That was real strong. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna do my thing and get out of here. Before I do that, if you like this show, hit the like button. All right, it does help. I will only do it once per show at the end. So hit the like button if you like the In the Dungeon show. My name is Frank Red. If you just listened to me for the first time, you don't know me. Well, get to know me, man. It's all good. Hit me up on X, Twitter, @BigFrankRed. I like to engage in conversations throughout the week when I'm not on air. And I'm open-minded. So I can be wrong. I'm wrong sometimes. I'm right a lot, but I'm wrong sometimes. All right? Success and getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. I am Frank Red. This is the Dungeon Program. Once again, thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you down the road. Peace.